Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is you. A lot of the time, you might overwork yourself, hustle, and actually ignore the principle of sustainability. The principle of sustainability to me means that over time, in the long haul, what actually helps you grow is that you align yourself with the fact that you are here to sustain yourself. Are you able to sustain your life force? Are you able to sustain your energy? Are you able to basically work and interact with reality to sustain yourself rather than to tear yourself apart in the process? In the short term, obviously, you might want to pull an all-nighter to get something done, to tick it off the list, to say, I did it. But for what? At what cost? Really? In the long haul. What are the consequences of that action, of overexhausting yourself beyond a certain limit? It takes a little bit of a contextual intelligence to be able to go macro and micro when it comes to your actions, when it comes to whether you are overexhausting yourself or saying, stop for a moment. I'm going to come back to this. No matter what gets done or what is left undone, I am worthy of love and belonging. I am worthy of love and belonging. That is what it all comes down to. It is this belief, it's this knowing that actually can sustain you, that can sustain your energy in the long haul. This belief that no matter what gets done or is left undone, I'm worthy of love and belonging, that is fundamental to your growth, to you taking care of your soil, to establishing deep roots and actually feel grounded enough to create sustainably. If that's not taken care of, the entire city of Rome in which you're creating, which is called your life and business, is going to fall apart. When a storm is coming, whenever something's coming, it's falling apart. It's falling apart whenever you have created something on a faulty foundation, on a foundation that was rooted in fear. Because oftentimes, whenever you are overexhausting yourself, going beyond your limit, meaning beyond your energetic limit, what happens? What happens then? You actually might get some sort of advancement, but then you will fall back 2 steps. That's literally the pattern that I see among most of the high performers with perfectionism that I work with. And I've seen it in my own patterns too. So it's necessary to keep the long term in mind. Because keeping the long term in mind is going to make it so that you're less likely to overwork yourself, to hustle from a place of fear rather than love. And why am I even saying fear? Well, oftentimes it actually is rooted in fear. Whenever you are lacking patience, whenever you think that what you're doing right now is of uttermost importance, it is of such an importance that if you don't do it, it's something wrong with you. Not what you did, but about you. So when you're acting and creating and showing up from that place, fear cannot sustain you. That's it. Fear cannot sustain you. It can't. At some point, the fear catches up with you. It does. Whereas if you rather act from a place of wholehearted love, knowing that you're keeping the long term in mind and that you value your sustainability rather than the short term advancement to the point where in the long haul you cut yourself short because you have overextended yourself, when you choose that long term vision of sustainability instead, you're able to actually then create more fluently and sustainably. It's as if you're able to actually breathe through your creations, through your contributions, through showing up. And that holds a very different energy to it, doesn't it? It holds a very different energy to it than if you were to just put your feet on the pedal and drive through until you crash. It's literally that in what you're doing. Wouldn't it be better to go from here to there in a sustainable way, driving carefully, yet at the same time enjoying the view and getting more memories from that, even being in a state of patience and kind of surrender and openness to what's ahead? Wouldn't that be better than just driving through from here to there, caring all about the so-called end destination? What's the end destination anyways? What do you think will happen when you reach that destination? Really? It's when you begin to see through the illusion of the mind that when you get to this and this point, everything will be perfect or in place, or that you'll feel good. It's when you're able to see through that illusion that's trying to trick you into overworking yourself, hustling and overextending yourself, because you're thinking that once I reach that point, then everything will be good. When you see through that illusion, you can't but help yourself to kind of reiterate your strategy. So your strategy then becomes, what if I invert this? And what if it's not about A and B? What if it's about everything in between and that I focus on that, yet keeping the end destination or that kind of vision, I would say, in mind as some sort of intention, but being open to the possibilities in between that can take you there? Wouldn't that be a more exciting way to live? It certainly is to me. And I would encourage you to shift your paradigm in the same way. And I know that that is not something that you necessarily do in a day. Just like Rome wasn't built in a day, you're not built in a day. And your paradigm is not either. It's integrated. You're integrating one paradigm for another. And that is exactly what I serve you with and support you with and coach you to be able to do within the Bloom Beyond tribe and also the paid programs that we're offering at Bloom Beyond. So you can go to bloombeyond.com/apply to get into the Bloom Beyond tribe. And in there, I will be able to hear you out your current and desired situation and being able to actually then take a look at your relationship to work, relationship to contribution, relationship to creation, whether you are overextending yourself, thinking about the short term, or whether you are the opposite to that, which would be to keep the long haul in mind, focusing upon what you're learning and how you're growing during that journey there, and actually then living sustainably, which is what we're all about. Growing in a sustainable way, thinking of yourself as a sunflower, taking care of yourself from the soil to the roots to the stem to the actual flower itself. So go to bloomingdown.com/apply to apply to become part of that for a free monthly cohort. And I might see you on the other side. Stay bright, stay brave, and stay balanced.